Hi, it's James here. Welcome to this episode of Create, Reach, Inspire.
Next on Create, Reach, Inspire.
In today's episode, I want to answer some fundamental questions about podcasting. Why podcasting is an exciting place to be right now for us, and also why it could be a fantastic tool for you as an entrepreneur or a business owner to actually market your brand and build a better connection with your customers or your audience.
Subscribe on your favourite app to get the latest episode lightning fast.
So, first of all, let's start with the basics here. You know, what is a podcast? In its definition, it's a digital audio file which is made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or mobile device. And I think this probably needs editing a little bit because these days, you know, computers, mobile devices, yes, but also you can stream it. Think about CarPlay, think about smart speakers, all these devices that people are connected via now. Typically, podcasts are available as a series, and generally speaking, new episodes are delivered to subscribers when they are released automatically. That's the benefit of it. You build up an audience and you get momentum. So where do people listen to podcasts? Well, first of all, directories, things like iTunes, Google, Spotify, Pocket Casts, you know the drill. What these directories allow you to do is search for podcasts, find stuff that you're interested in, and also subscribe to them. So you can then automatically get the latest episode each time to your favourite app whenever it's released, which is awesome, right? Nowadays, you can also embed episodes on your own website using a player to get more traffic and more traction to your podcast by that, which is great. And also you can share it on social channels, things like Facebook, Twitter, your blog, you name it. So why is now a good time for you to start podcasting? How about 2019? It's nearly 2020. Can you believe that? Well, here are some juicy bits. First of all, each podcast listener in the US is currently valued at around $4. And this is expected to actually double in the next 2 years to around $8. So there is money in podcasting. 78% of listeners remember following up on an ad or a sponsored message that they heard on a podcast. So audiences are taking action to commercial messages, which again means there's money in podcasting. Finally, podcast audiences, generally speaking, are very educated, they're high earners, and they earn around 51% more than the general population, which is very exciting. I think you'll agree. All right, next up, you can pretty much podcast anything. Now, you don't need a license to create a podcast, although if you want to use commercial music, you'll need to pay royalties. Millions and millions of people are searching for podcasts on topics that they like. So whether or not you want to make a podcast about cupcakes or cats, doesn't really matter. You can be super niche. That's fine. You'll get an audience. And also, it really helps build brands. And it's a great marketing tool for companies who are looking to build stronger connections with their audiences. Podcasting is a really exciting and high growth industry right now. So now is the time to get in, guys. The amount of podcast consumption by consumers has skyrocketed since 2016, largely due to people being more connected. You know, everyone's got more data allowance on their phone and these kind of things. Plus things like CarPlay and smart speakers have taken off massively. Everyone's getting them for Christmas gifts, which means you have a huge audience to get in front of now. In fact, there was over 25,000 podcasts submitted to Apple between April and May 2018. It's almost half of the US population are estimated to now be listening to podcasts. So this is very exciting. But you might be saying to me, James, how do I get on Spotify? How do I get on Apple? How do I get my podcast out there? Well, you need to use something called RSS. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing and it kind of makes me angry. But don't worry about it. What I want you to do is focus on the exciting stuff, which is creating an awesome podcast and making it great and really reaching for the stars. The RSS thing, we've got you covered because Podcast.co automatically takes care of that side of things so you can focus on really what you want to enjoy doing, creating an awesome podcast and getting it out there and kind of like taking the credit for it, I guess. We'll automatically distribute it to the various different platforms, including Apple and Spotify and so on and so forth. Or if you want, you can manually submit it to these services yourself. But we take care of the technical headaches, so you don't need to worry about any of that stuff. How about revenue? Did anyone say making some money? Well, monetizing your audience is a really powerful thing to do with podcasting. In fact, there's some podcasts out there who have hundreds of thousands of people who pay them directly just for premium access to special episodes and that kind of thing. And you can actually attract sponsors directly. You can use an advert network to get sponsors. Plus, you can make money via various different methods, things like merchandise, things like affiliate sales, paid promotions, and etc., etc. And the great thing about podcasting is it's not like running a TV show or something where the network's involved. You actually get to keep what you earn. So it's a really hot market right now. It's growing rapidly and there is money to be made. How about guests, you may ask? Well, you get to speak to really interesting people. When you say you've got a podcast and you want to interview someone, generally they respond pretty well, right? And generally speaking, once you've interviewed them, they'll then share your interview with them on their own networks, which helps spread the word. And ultimately, this gives you increased reach and publicity for your podcast, which is a win-win situation.
Visit createreachinspire.com and subscribe today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to this week's episode of Create, Reach, Inspire. Podcasting is a really hot place to be right now, and it's something I think every business should be doing. So please do drop me an email on hello@podcast.co. We'll arrange a time to have a call or even meet up and talk about how podcasting can be implemented as a positive marketing strategy for your business. It's really worth doing. It can be used as an internal communications tool as well if you're a bigger organisation, or it could be used to build a better relationship with your customers. Thanks for listening to this week's episode, and I'll speak to you again in 2 weeks' time. Remember to click on that subscribe button. Thanks.